Welcome everybody. I'm Sasha Sharpley from Ideal Homes Portugal, the real estate agent, and I'm here with Beatriz Mealha from Atlantic Properties, who are tax and accounting experts. We're going to talk a little bit about the implications of purchasing a property in Portugal and the tax and accounting side of things. During this session, if you have any questions that occur to you, then if you could wait until the end of the session when we start our live Q&A before sort of plugging them into the system, and then we'll answer all your questions. So, Beatriz, welcome.
Thank you.
So, you've been working for Atlantic Properties for a little while.
Yes, for
perhaps,
eight years already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, perhaps you could give us a brief summary of who Atlantic Properties are and the type of services that our clients who are buying properties would want from you.
Okay, so Atlantic Property was based in Vila Moura since 2006. Okay, we have been helping investors and non-residents mainly to buy properties in Portugal and also to get investment from their properties. Okay, mainly. Okay, because we act on the real estate business as well. Okay, helping them improve their properties. Okay. When I entered on the company, I started on the main business of the company, which is doing the fiscal numbers, okay? Our company does fiscal numbers, helps paying the taxes of the clients, and also preparing and planning tax situations as capital gains or inherent in the future, okay? And we've been in the market for 16 years already, so we have 3,000 clients at the moment. Most of them are residents and part of them are non-residents. Okay.
Okay, fine. So you were talking about the fiscal number. Just talk to us, what is a fiscal number?
Yeah, it's the main important thing in Portugal to get, okay? Without that, you will not be able to buy a house, to open a bank account, to register for any types of requests with the Portuguese authorities, okay? So that is the main point to start when you think of investing in Portugal. Even though if you don't complete it, okay, at least you have the main thing with you, okay? The fiscal number is a thing that is very easy to get, okay? We just need 3 types of documents specific from the client, okay? And normally we take 24 hours to have the fiscal number, okay? The fiscal number will help you to buy the property, as I said, and will assist the lawyer to start the process of the purchasing. Okay.
So it's a kind of tax identity number,
yes,
which is that's the way to describe it.
Yeah.
But there are no sort of tax implications for someone who is earning money outside of Portugal. This has got nothing to do with that at all. There's no impact on that.
So basically the fiscal number will help managing the tax affairs in Portugal, okay? But if the person has incomes abroad, okay, that will not be affected because when we issue a fiscal number, it's normally for non-residents, okay, at that point. And at that point, only the income that they generate in Portugal will be taxed here. Okay.
So there's also fiscal representation. You provide fiscal representation services.
Yes.
So there are certain nationalities where that is not required.
That's right.
And there are certain nationalities where that is required.
That's
Perhaps
right.
you can explain.
Yeah, so with the fiscal number, when we are in the process of issuing the fiscal number, okay, the main point is the person is nominating us as a fiscal representative, okay? There are countries that are not obliged, okay? Such as the European Union, okay? They are not obliged to have a fiscal number, a fiscal representative, okay? But we advise so in terms of if they want to proceed a taxation in Portugal, okay? The countries where they are obliged is out of the European Union, okay? And our job here is to facilitate the tax situation between the tax authorities and the investor, okay? Help him understand the taxes in Portugal and also to compile with all the payments, okay? Deadlines, payment requests, anything that comes to the tax authorities, okay, the fiscal representative has the obligation to inform and keep the investor informed about all the liabilities.
So as a fiscal representative, you are effectively responsible, right, for the everything fiscal relating to that client.
That's right. That's right. Everything that comes to the tax authorities, we are the domicile in Portugal. Okay. So all the letters, all the requests, everything, and also normally when they have some doubts, okay, they phone us directly to understand the point of what is happening with the client. If the client missed the deadline of payment of one of the taxes, what happened? Okay, they chase us to then understand what is happening with the investor.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when you're applying just for the fiscal number, there is a kind of a fee for that, and then if you are a fiscal representative, there's like an annual fee. What kind of, without being precise, what kind of fee are we talking about?
We are talking about between 200 and 300, depending if it's an individual, or if it's a couple, or if it's a company. Okay, we do for all the types of...
per year you're talking about?
Per year.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're taking on quite a lot of responsibility, fiscal responsibility for a client. For really a relatively small annual fee.
Yeah. We normally, each service has a different type of amount, okay? The fiscal representation is that part, okay? And then if the client wants to rent a property, sell the property, have any help on donating the property, anything like that, in which we will intervene to do planning, okay? We will charge separately.
Right. Okay. So there are various taxes that you have to pay in Portugal when you already own a property, right? And one of those, the key one, is the property tax, the IMI, what we call the IMI, IMI.
That's right.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, so once the investor purchases a property, okay, they are liable for ownership tax, such as the council tax, the IMI. Okay, the IMI is paid in arrears. Okay, which means that on the year that the investor buys the property, it will only pay it in the following, okay? The council tax is defined by the municipal, okay? Each municipal defines the tax rate every year, okay? So that is our work doing it as well, okay? That tax rate can be between 0.3 and 0.45, okay?
So it's between 0.3 and 0.5% of that fiscal value of the property.
That's right. The tax authorities give a value to the property. Normally it's not close to the market value, okay? It's something that they calculate accordingly with coefficients, okay? Location, effect, if it's an habitation, if it's a service, okay, if it has a pool, if it doesn't have a pool, all of that things are evaluated by the tax authorities, and the tax authorities give a value to the property. Based on that value, they apply the rate, okay? We normally, what we do with the clients is on the following year that they purchase, we send an account statement, okay, with all the properties that they own in Portugal and all the tax rates, so they know how much each property is paying on council tax, okay? The council tax can be paid in one installment, 2 installments, or 3 installments, depending on the amount of the tax, okay?
Yeah, so this property tax, IMI tax that has to be paid, it is universal in the sense that it's independent on what your nationality is, what your affordability is.
If you are a resident, if you are non-resident,
it's all equal with everybody.
Yes.
So without being very precise, let's kind of quantify what kind of tax, property tax we're talking about. So let's say that a property is, has been purchased at 500,000 euros. The market value is 500,000 euros. So the fiscal valuation, what might be
150 to 100 maximum.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're only talking about 0.3% or 0.4 up to 0.45%, depending upon the municipality, of that much lower value.
That's right.
So the annual property tax may be something between 300 and 800 euros per year.
Yeah, that's it.
And indeed, because the average salary in Portugal is so low, the Portuguese government wants to make it easy for payments. So if it's, for example, 300, maybe you only need to pay it once.
Twice.
Twice,
Yeah.
right. To make it easy for you.
Yeah.
My God, because, you know, where do I find 300 euros, right? So they help you out by dividing it up into two.
Yeah, so
right?
what we do is if you pay it, if it's more than 100, it's one installment, okay, in May. If it's more than 200, okay, to 500, it's two installments, one in May, one in November. If it's more than 500, then it will be May, August, and November, okay? They allow you to pay it in one go if you want in May, okay? If you prefer to get off that and it's done, okay, next year they will call me again to pay it, okay? Yeah. But normally they do that, yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, there are two types of properties that someone may be entertaining to buy, right? They may be looking at buying a property which is in existence, right? Where it already has a fiscal valuation, you already know what that valuation is, so there is no guesswork associated with that.
No.
But then, of course, there's another category where someone might be buying a property or a plot or a property which is under construction, and the fiscal valuation doesn't happen until the end, until the property is completed. So the client who's buying the property doesn't actually know at this stage exactly what it is.
Yes.
But
if they are buying effectively a property, they will know for sure, because normally the seller is obliged to at least present information about the property, okay? But if it's a plot, it pays council tax differently, okay? It's not the 0.3 between the 0.45, but it's a different tax rate, okay? And until the habitation license is issued and the tax authority is informed, okay, the property pays council tax as a plot, okay?
Right.
So at that point, when they finish the building construction work, okay, they will give these coefficients that I told you, okay? They will say, okay, the property has a pool, the property has a parking lot, a private one, it doesn't have connection with the main water service, or it has, okay? Everything counts. It's close to the sea, it's not close to the sea, okay? Everything counts to evaluate the value. But mostly, okay, I saw one case, and it's not normal, okay? The rateable value is below the market value, always.
Right.
Yeah.
So in other words, people who are buying something which is under construction can feel relaxed about what the annual property tax is going to be, because of course we have a lot of clients, for example, from the United States, where property taxes are orders of magnitude, you know, many times what it is in Portugal. But because everybody's treated equally in Portugal, and because the average salary in Portugal is so low, by definition, property taxes have to be always a low amount.
Yeah, a reasonable amount.
Right.
Yeah.
So on a sort of bureaucratic point, so if you purchase a property and you become the owner of that property on the 31st of December, then you're going to have to pay
the whole council tax
for the following year.
Yeah.
But if you become the owner of that property on the 1st of the following year, the 1st of January, then the previous owner will pay it.
The previous one. Yeah. That's how it works. What the tax authorities want to see is the last owner of the property on the 31st of December. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they check the ownership at that time, okay, and then apply the council tax. I know that sometimes lawyers try to make arrangements between the buyer and the seller, okay, saying, okay, you use the property half of the year, it's just fair that you pay half of the council tax and they hold the funds, okay? However, we should not forget that on the 31st, okay, of December, that person is responsible of paying the council tax. So it means that even though they made the arrangement, the request will come to that person, okay? So it's better also to make safe that arrangement is okay, so we don't have problems later. Sure.
Okay, so let's say that we have, a client is looking to buy a property and make a business out of it in terms of renting out that property. Okay. So as it stands right now, we have two types of rental business out there. One is short-term rentals.
That's right.
And the other one is long-term rentals. Short-term rentals, I think, is defined as a guest staying in the property at less than a month at a time.
Less than 30 days.
And anything more than that is classified as long-term. As long-term.
Yeah.
So the short term, you need a local lodging license. Just explain to us the process of all of that.
So the short-term rentals, as known as alojamento local, okay, is a period of 30 days. Okay, so the investor needs to apply for a rental license. Okay, each rental license is applied to a property. Okay, the property has to have some specific safety items installed. Okay. Fire blanket, fire extinguisher, some items, okay? With that license, then the investor is able to rent the property, okay? The short-term rentals is a very good business in Portugal to do, okay? You get a good revenue back, okay, from that investment, okay? The short-term taxation is also very easy, okay? That's why they call simplified regime, okay? You just need to register as a sole trader in Portugal. Okay, registering the activity 55201, okay, which is for short-term rentals specifically. Okay, after that, the taxation is very simple. Okay, gross income, okay, and deductible expenses. The tax authorities, to make this simplified regime, they decided to apply tax rates to each part. Okay, a tax rate for the gross income and a tax percentage to the expenses. Okay, so basically what they did is, okay, so I don't want to see any expenses, okay, to make it easy for you, okay, and in that term, I want to tax you 35% of your gross income, okay? So meaning that 65 is expenses, automatically assume the tax authorities do not request to check, okay? On that, if you are non-resident in Portugal, you will pay 25%, okay? So in the end, we normally say, to make it more appeal to the person, okay, 8.75 on whatever you earn. So say that you earn 10,000 euros, you will pay 875. Okay, this is the main thing. However, the tax authorities know that the business is difficult on the first and second year because you need to furnish the apartment. You don't know how the market will react to your apartment. Okay, so on the first and second year, the tax authorities grant you a reduction of this taxable amount. Okay, instead of being 35%, on the first is 17.5%, and on the second is 26%. Okay.
So it's 50% of the 8.75 in year one, and 75% of 8.75%.
That's right. Okay. As non-resident, you pay in the end 25% over that taxable amount, which will be on the first year 4.3, if I'm not mistaken, and then on the
6 point something.
Yes, 6 point something, and then 8.75 from that point onwards. Okay. They haven't been making any change. Okay. So for the last 6 years, it has been this way. Okay, I know that on the first year was better, but now they haven't changed the tax rates. Okay, so which is good, gives us more of stability on the tax regime. Okay, and that is the main thing in terms of IRS, the personal tax. Okay, then on that regime, okay, you will also be subject to another tax, the VAT. Okay, it's not. I know that some clients, when we talk VAT, they get very upset.
Well, VAT stands for value-added tax.
Yeah, they get a bit of nervous about it.
Yeah, I mean, it may be. I think for our American audience, it may be something similar to kind of like sales tax or something like that.
Yeah. So basically, the VAT is something that it adds to the service that you are providing. Okay, in this type of business, it's a very good rate because it's 6%. Okay, because you are providing accommodation service to a final guest, okay? And that VAT that you need to charge to your guests, okay, that only happens if you go above 13,500. Okay?
So in other words, in year one, you can elect not to be on the VAT system.
Yes, you cannot.
And only if you have reached above 13,500 in year one, are you obliged to go onto the VAT system in year two onwards.
Onwards if you want.
Where you are effectively invoicing your clients.
That's right.
Whatever the fee is, the accommodation, plus another 6%.
That's right.
Which is going to go to the Portuguese government.
Yes.
So you, as a company, manage this process on behalf of clients who are wanting to run a short-term rental business.
That's right. So what we do is once we have the meeting with the client explaining all of these procedures, okay, we normally inquire the client if he wants to register for VAT immediately. Okay, it's an option. Okay, every time is an option if they want to register or not. Sorry. And then we also discuss if it's good or not to register for VAT, because sometimes you are making a big lump sum of investment in the beginning, okay, and you want to recover.
For furniture, for example, where there is VAT
that's right.
to be added.
Yeah, so and the furniture has 23%, okay, so it's more than the VAT that they need to collect for their guests, okay, so it could be a good thing to do it. Some clients want to register immediately, some prefer to do it once they reach the threshold, okay. As you said, the VAT is only on the following year if they don't suppress in the first year, okay, and it balances between the VAT that you need to pay and the VAT that you recover on your expenses. And here
so you're getting back, or not getting back, but you're eliminating some of that 6% VAT that you have to pay every 3 months.
That's right.
Because you've spent VAT on furniture and other things, expenses,
management
whatever.
fees, whatever you see it's related with the rentals can be deducted.
And because the actual VAT that you're charging your guests is only 6%,
yes,
but the kind of quote-unquote normal value of VAT is 23%, there is going to be actually quite a significant amount of reduction of that 6% because of that.
And we will be building a credit, okay? They can get that VAT back, okay? It's manageable, okay? What we advise normally is wait until the end of the season, because we don't know the income that will appear during the summer, which is the period that they most will rent, okay? So, but yeah, they can get back the VAT that they have in excess in credit, okay? After a whole year of business, okay? They can request it back. And it's a pretty easy, it's complicated to us, but it's very easy for the client. It's just confirming on the numbers that we present. We normally, in here on the VAT, okay, we present computations, so it's easy for the client to understand where are going the VAT that he's charging from the guest and where is going the VAT that he's getting from the expenses, okay? And in the end, it's just a calculation of between credit and to pay, okay, on VAT.
So, at the end of the year of running a business like this, you're going to be putting in a tax declaration on behalf of the client to the Portuguese authorities, the Portuguese tax authorities.
Yes, right.
But because we're talking about the simplified tax regime, it's a relatively simple tax declaration. It doesn't require a tremendous amount of work on your side.
That's
is that
right,
correct?
because the work is done during the year, basically.
Right.
Issuing the rental receipts for the guests, okay, preparing all the accounts until the end of the year, okay, that's the main thing. Our work goes during the year, and then when it comes to do the tax return is very easy because of the simplified regime. Okay? This is the short-term rentals, basically. Then the other option, the long-term rentals. Okay, the long-term rentals are here a long time ago. Okay, they haven't made any changes in terms of the taxes, mainly because it has been very the same, okay? So long-term rentals, we suppose that it's you have a contract with a person, okay? Staying in your apartment more than 30 days, okay? That is the expected, okay? And for that, we need to register that contract. That's the main step here.
Register it with the tax authorities.
Yes, registering the contract with the tax authorities. Then, monthly, we will issue rental receipts accordingly with the payments of the tenant, okay? And that's it, okay? The job that we need to do. For the tax return, okay, here it works very differently from the short-term rentals. Basically, I will assess the income through the rental receipts that we issue monthly, okay, and then I will request the client to send me some expenses, okay. Here we need to assess the official expenses, okay. The tax authorities, normally this type of tax return is called to inspection, and they want to check all the expenses. And here is our work.
And expenses would be like what? What kind of of expenses
Everything
are we talking
related
about?
with the rentals, okay, except the mortgage interest, that is not deductible, neither the depreciation of the property, okay, not the house appliances and furniture, but anything else like condominium, the council tax that we spoke in the
bills,
first place.
the utility bills.
The utilities, if they are responsibility of the owner, okay, building insurance, the stamp tax, because once you register the contract, you are subject to stamp tax one-off, okay, unless you increase the rental income, and in that you need to pay the difference, okay. And
But the stamp tax, the stamp duty is a percentage of the first month. Is that?
yeah, it's of the monthly rent. It's 10% of the monthly rent.
So it's a once only payment,
Yeah.
if you like, of
Yeah.
10% of the monthly your monthly charge.
That's right. And in terms of expenses, that's it. Yeah, basically that's are the one. Oh, and I forgot one. If you make any maintenance or repairs on the property, that is also deductible. Another thing here on the expenses, if you are coming to Portugal and intending to rent the property as a long term, you can prepare the property to be able to be rented. Okay, sometimes the property is not ready to be rented. Okay, so all the 24 months expenses before the initiation of the contract can be also deductible on the first year. Okay, this is a benefit that the tax authorities have been given to the owners. Okay, from now on 2019, I think.
So
okay.
there's no rental license required.
No.
It's just a contract,
Yes.
Which your
Normally the lawyers.
The lawyers
Yeah.
will just prepare.
Prepare for
and
the client.
did you mention what the tax rate was?
I didn't mention. So the tax rate is 28%, okay, on the difference between the gross income and the expenses. Okay, so 28% flat rate, that's it, okay? However, we can have here some differences, which is if the owner is renting the property to a company, okay, the company has accountancy in Portugal, okay, and being the owner non-resident, okay, the company has to do withholding tax. Okay, that withholding tax works as an advance payment of the tax to the tax authorities. Okay, and in the end, once the client comes to pay the 28%, they will discount to 25% over that. Okay, so normally, if they have anything to pay, it's 3%.
Okay.
Okay.
And also, if you have because the long-term contract can be a 3-month contract,
Yes.
6-month contract,
Yes.
3-year contract,
Everything
right?
that is more than 30 days, it feels on the.
And are there any tax benefits or reductions in the income tax the longer
Yes.
the contract is?
Yes, so basically on the previous 2 years, the government insert that type of benefit, stating that, okay, if you rent more than 2 years, I will give you 2% discount on your final percentage. Okay. So 26, okay, in that case. More than 2 years, okay, it's 2%, more than 4, it goes to 4%, and then it goes for. And this is not only for the period that you establish in the beginning, okay? It can be also for renovations. If you want to renew your contract for more than 2 or 3 years or 4, okay, they also grant you this reduction on the tax rate.
One thing we haven't talked about is insurances, and I think the key one is liability insurance. Does that apply just for local lodging licenses, or does it for long-term rental?
Okay,
how does that work?
The short-term rentals, once you are applying for the rental license, you need to have a liability insurance for civil responsibility. Okay.
For any accidents that
might
occur.
For any accident that might occur, the government has put that in the law to be safe, also for the owner and also for the guests. Okay. On the short-term rentals is obliged, okay? On the long-term rentals, normally it's a decision of the owners, but most of my owners have building insurance, at least for the building, okay? And some have also for the content, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, if someone is taking out a mortgage, then they're obliged to have a building insurance to protect the bank, basically.
Yeah, to protect the bank, so if something happens, they can cover that cost. Yeah.
So let's now talk about when it comes to selling your property. You decide that you want to sell the property. What are the taxes that you might have to pay?
Okay,
then?
So that has been in the table for the last 2 years because the government and also the taxpayer were not satisfied with the regulation that was on the table about the non-residents. Okay, so finally we got something just for everyone, residents and non-residents. Okay, so capital gains now are taxed equally. So basically, it will be you need to submit a tax return once you sell the property, okay, on the following year, okay. That tax return will have sale price, purchase price, okay, all the purchase costs, okay, are deductible.
There's various taxes, lawyers' fees, and so on.
No, lawyers' fees are not deductible.
Okay.
Yeah, that one, it's sensible, okay. I understand that the investors, when they are coming to Portugal, they need a lawyer to assist them on all the procedure, and I understand that. However, the government and the tax authorities do not allow that type of cost, okay? But anything related with selling the house, like the real estate commission, that is deductible, and it's a big sum to add on the costs, okay? And also the 12 years of improvements that they probably made on the property can also be deductible.
Why 12 years? What do you mean?
It was 5 in the past, okay? And then they increased it to 12. I think
so if you have a history of making improvements over the last 12 years,
you are
as long as you've kept those receipts demonstrating, that's really, really important.
With your fiscal number.
Yes, of course.
It's very important to keep everything since the beginning, okay? Since you issue your fiscal number, keep all the paperwork, and that's why we are here as well, okay? All the information that the investor has in Portugal about the property, about the fiscal number, anything, any purchase, okay? It should be kept on the tax file because it's important either for rentals, either for capital gains. It's very important, okay? In terms of taxation here, so the new thing happening on capital gains is that only 50% of the profit will be taxed, okay? As of last year's was 100% of the profit taxed over 28%, okay? Now only 50% is taxable, but with a different tax rate, okay? What they did was, in order to put everything equally, okay, they decided to apply the Portuguese tax rate. Okay, so imagine if your profit is 10,000 euro, 20,000. Okay, only 50% is deductible, so 10,000, and 10,000 will pay 14.5 or between 14.5 and 21. Okay, so it's much more fair. Okay.
And what determines whether it's 14 or 21 or some other figure in between?
So the Portuguese tax bracket goes from 14.5 to 48, depending on the gross income. Okay, and here is a very, very good difference between the previous system and the new. Now is not only the gain of the sale that counts, okay? The tax authorities also want to know if you have incomes abroad, just to check, because the tax rate is progressive, okay? So in order to be equal to everyone, with me and with you and also the non-residents, okay? They just asked you to tell, okay, how much of income you have outside of Portugal, okay? And with that, plus the 50% of the gain, they will check how much is the tax rate, okay? But they will only apply on the gain, okay?
Right.
Which is fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with this new system, you basically, are you saying that clients are effectively paying less than they used to pay?
They are, because even though the highest rate is 48, if you imagine in the previous system, they were paying 28 on 100.
Yes.
And now the maximum they can pay is 24 on 100.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So in fact, they are paying less. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And the rules are more equal to everyone. Okay. Because this was a big dispute on the system in the last 2 or 3 years, because it was something on the European court, okay, that triggered all of this alteration, which is very good for the clients.
And also, is it true that once when you buy the property, you purchase at a certain value, does the Portuguese government apply a certain increase in that value of that property because there's been appreciation of that?
That's
that
right.
also comes into it.
That's right. So on the purchase price, okay, what the tax authorities do is every year they release a coefficient inflation adjustment to everyone, okay, and you just need to assess when have you purchased the property, and they will give you a coefficient. I can give you a rough idea for properties sold in 2022, for 2017, bought in 2017, it's 1.02. So 2% increase on the property.
Okay. So
that
further reduces your capital
the
gains
gap
tax.
between the sale price and the purchase price.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've covered most things. I don't know if there's anything else you can think of that we might need to cover.
I can add that all the tax returns that we have to do in Portugal are done between April and June. I know that in, for example, US, the deadline is April, okay? I have several clients from US and I know this because of that, okay? And I try my best to prepare all the computations before that deadline, okay? So that is an important thing to say, which is even though you are not a resident in Portugal, okay, you must declare also your incomes generated in Portugal on your residency country, okay? Because
there's a dual taxation treaty there.
Yeah, so basically what happens is if your tax rate is higher in your residency country, you just pay the difference, okay, between the tax rates in their country. But basically that's it. Tax returns are done between April and June, okay, and the payment, if any, during August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Beatriz, thank you very much indeed. I mean, that's been very, very useful.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure we're going to have a lot of clients who will be very interested in contacting you. So we'll provide your contact details and your team's contact details.
Thank you.
You know, so that our clients can reach out to you if they have any more detailed questions. So thank you very much for this, Beatriz. And I look forward to seeing you again in the future sometime. Thank you.